Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some more X-Plane 11 in virtual reality. Whew, kind of loud in here. Merry Christmas 2018 to everybody, and howdy folks. This is BelGeode and we are back for part 3 of our Orbx UK tour. And tonight our chariot is going to be this bad girl right here. This is the brand new X-Rotors Leonardo AW-139. Take a look at this beauty right here. As always, I am in VR in the Oculus Rift, and dang, this is like opening up a Christmas gift. This thing is just so freaking awesome. I love this helicopter. I really love this helicopter. Look at the back here. We can hold like 12 people in this thing. That is just so awesome. So yeah, as I stated, this thing is brand spanking new. It's designed to be used for the brand new X-Plane 11.30, which as of the time of this recording is still in beta. However, we're up to the release candidate version, so that means it's probably going to go live really soon. As I'm sure you saw outside, we are at London City Airport and we're back in the Orbx TrueEarth Great Britain South. We're going to be taking a tour up the Thames River to check out London and see how well Orbx was able to pull it off. Alright, so without further ado, let me raise a collective here and we are going to toddle on to the runway and see if we can take off to the west. Check out the Millennium Dome and all the really cool things there are to see in London. Alright, let me check my windsock. Okay, yeah, we definitely need to be heading west. Alright, so we'll raise collective a little bit here, and away we go. Everything's good to go. Get our brakes on. Okay, here we go, folks. Let's check out London at Christmas time. One of the first things that I can say about this helicopter is just how powerful it feels. Like I'm barely pulling up on a collective and already we're airborne. That to me is just freaking awesome. And of course this thing has all the modern accoutrements. A lot of helicopter purists will probably say it's too stable. Personally, I think it's just the right balance between stability and, you know, that usual helicopter capability to kill you if you mess up. Oh, look at that, we got cable cars down there. That is so awesome. Folks, I've never been to London in real life, so this is what I've got to go by there. And honestly, I think it's really cool. I know like maybe a handful of some of the landmarks around London. Like I can tell you that's the Millennium Dome there, only because I've seen so many pictures of it. But other than that, I don't know too much. But yeah, as far as the handling of this thing handles rather well. Now it does have SAS, which is the Stability Augmentation System, so that does make your workload a little bit easier when you're in the cockpit. But if you want a real challenge, and you really are a glutton for punishment, go ahead and turn the SAS off completely. Then try to fly this thing and see if it doesn't buck you around like a Bronco. It's crazy. Alright, so real quick, our first stop for this evening before we continue down the Thames towards Heathrow, we're going to be stopping at a Donationware Scenery by Charity Scenery Productions. You've probably seen them in my prepared episode where I was in London. This is Vanguard Heliport on the River Thames, and it is by Craig Tompkins and friends. So we're going to check that out in a moment, and we'll see if we can put this bird down on the shore. Alright, let's see if we can pull this off. I just got this thing, I really don't want to break it. But directly ahead you will see Vanguard Heliport, also known as Falcon Heliport. Except I'm not quite sure which name supersedes which. I don't know. But in any event, this is Donationware. As I said, it is by Charity Scenery Project. It costs you £1 British pound sterling. You donate to them, all the proceeds go towards the London Air Ambulance, and I think the Thames Valley Air Ambulance as well. So definitely an excellent, worthy cause. And as you can see, it fits flawlessly within the Orbx scenery for London. So yeah, good thing. Now if only I can just kind of see over the dash here and bring this puppy down nice and easy. Make sure the wheels don't rub against that little wall that they've got there. I guess that's a seawall. Okay, right there should be good. Let's pull it back. Come on, baby. Pull back. Pull back. We don't want to go into the warehouse here. There we go. Alright, right there. Yes, and welcome to Vanguard Heliport, folks. I love this place. When I showed this off in P3D, I was using the Huey at the time. But one of the things that I really like are some of the signs around the area. So I'm going to go outside now, and I'm going to show you some of the signs. And be prepared, it's going to be loud. But let's go outside. And we'll flip around here. Look at that. Tell me that is not a beautiful bird. The only thing that I can find wrong with this thing, there's currently no purple livery. You know me. I have to have my purple, so if the developers are listening, hello, help me out here. Alright, let's take a look around Vanguard here. This is the interior of the warehouse. It's obviously not fully fleshed out, but you can see there's a dude there trying to work, and we're just interrupting him. I love that sign, though. If you must enter the premises uninvited, remove your dentures. That is awesome. That is so awesome. So yeah, we're on the Isle of Dogs, which curiously enough I found out hasn't had any dogs there for quite a few centuries, so I don't know why they call it that, I really don't. Anyway, let's head back into the chopper. We're going to go down the Thames, and we're going to see if we can go under the Tower Bridge, as well as check out some of the other landmarks on our way to Heathrow. So, cool. One thing you will notice, which I think might be a beta bug, I don't know, it kind of jitters a little bit when it's sitting on the ground. Yeah, you can actually hear the thump, 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 which is the sound of it jittering on the ground. I'm not quite sure what's causing that. Like I said, I think it might be a beta bug since this is 11.30. However, this helicopter, as I stated earlier, is designed for that. So, I don't know. Maybe the developer needs to take a look at that. We'll find out. In any event, we are going to say goodbye to Vanguard, and I'm going to pull my cyclic back just a bit here to see if we can get out of this neck of the woods. Yeah, nice little church over there, too. Alright, gear can come up. You may also notice this thing has a quote-unquote bitchin' Betty, so she'll actually announce altitudes and so on. You'll hear her announce like 150 feet off the deck once we actually get to that altitude. But she has other things that she will say. She can be very talkative from time to time, but usually she doesn't bother me too much. I try to fly it by the books, so yeah. That's all I can say about that as I'm about to head under the Tower Bridge. Alright, but there's downtown London for you. Now, I have heard on good authority that Charity Scenery Project is in the process of working on bringing their other prepared sceneries into X-Plane. So, if you remember correctly from that episode, they also did the Royal London Hospital and a couple of other sceneries. I think they did Milton Keynes Bowl, and there was another one on the far side of the Thames, just past the Tower of London and everything. But I forget the name of it right now. I'm trying to record this thing on the fly, so I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. But yes, all of those will eventually be coming to X-Plane, and I would highly recommend that you donate and get all of them, because I'm pretty sure they're all going to fit flawlessly. The only downside that I would say about Vanguard is the way the windows are. I don't know if that's a texture that could be updated slightly, because it does kind of stand out a little bit. Maybe make it mirrored, but you know, who am I to judge? Because I don't have the time to sit down there and actually make scenery, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I will tell you folks that London Bridge is about to fall down. Oh yeah, I couldn't have picked a better time to do that. Hey, look at that, we got a little ship over there too. And there is the Gherkin. Yeah, that's like the only one of those buildings over there that I actually know. Oh wait, no, I think that's, what is that, St. Paul's Cathedral, if I'm not too mistaken. I remember that one because that's where Princess Diana got married to that one dude. Yeah, you remember his name. I'm sorry, I miss Princess Diana. She was my princess. She was my princess. That's all I can say. Alright, but as we continue down the Thames, we'll get a closer look. One thing I gotta take maybe a half a point off with Orbx. I noticed that the textures upon closer examination are not as sharp as they could be. Bear in mind, I'm in VR. VR will bring out every single flaw that's in your texture. So when I tell you that they're not as sharp as they could be, might be something you might want to look into. But with that having been said, in my X-Plane graphical settings, I do have everything set to high as opposed to max, so that may have something to do with it. Alright, so we got the London Eye coming up in the Tower of London with, of course, Big Ben. Yes, yes, everybody in Pittsburgh knows all about Big Ben. Unfortunately, our Big Ben is not nearly as robust as that one, and, well, not as reliable. That's all I will say. Forgive me, fellow Pittsburghers, but you know what I'm talking about. Where's our dang Super Bowl? That's all I can say. Alright, let's go to the outside and see if we can find the Queen. There it is. Alright kids, make sure you don't try this at home. I'm sure that if this is anything like Washington DC, Buckingham Palace is probably a no-fly zone. Yeah, you'll get your happy butt shot down with a quickness. But this is X-Plane 11, so we can pay the Queen a visit, and we'll circle around. Now, one thing that this helicopter can also do, it can do an auto hover. Now, I'm not going to show that off in this particular episode. We'll save that for a later episode when the helicopter makes a comeback. But for right now, we're just going to kind of fly around the grounds here and take a quick look at Buckingham and see how well Orbx did. That actually looks pretty cool, though. I have to say, that does look pretty neat. Wow. Alright, so we're going to make our way back towards the river, and then I'm going to need to turn in the direction of Heathrow. But first I've got to kind of find it there. There's another look at Big Ben and London Eye and some of the downtown areas. You know, I wonder where the EastEnders live. I'm assuming they're probably along that side of London. I don't know. I used to watch that TV series all the time on PBS. However, it's been many, many years since I've seen it. I don't even know if it's still around, so if any of you are in the UK, maybe you can tell me if EastEnders is still a thing on British television there. That would be cool to see that series again. That was awesome. But getting back to this helicopter, please make sure that you read the manual when you get this thing. It's not a very large manual, mind you, so it's not the dreaded, well, let me just say it's study level, but it does have some rather interesting features, including, of course, the Autopilot, which makes long hauls in this helicopter an absolute breeze. I'm going to pop on the Autopilot right now. We've got the altitude hold on, and we'll just lower the collective a little bit so that way we don't gain any altitude, and then it'll try to adjust. And there you go. You can see on my PFD on the right, there's a little purple line in the center of the attitude display. And we currently have both autopilots on, the SAS is on, and the altitude hold. So let me just zoom in there, and you can see all the little buttons roughly in the center of your screen there. Ooh, a little bit of that bright sunlight from the sunset coming in. That's pretty cool. This thing is awesome to fly at night as well. It's got full lighting for the cabin, for the cockpit, as well as exterior lighting, landing lights. The landing lights do tend to illuminate the interior of the cockpit, which is not ideal, but it's something that we can live with. Overall, I would say that X-Rotors did a phenomenal job on this helicopter. It feels nice, especially in VR. Yes, this is beautiful. So folks, I am in the back of the AW-139, and as you can see, we've got seating for 12 here. It's looking really fancy. Kind of like it. It's definitely not the TBM 900, mind you, but it does feel good. This is the perfect time to just have the autopilot on and just kind of chill in the back. I think the only thing that's missing is maybe some music files, but to be honest with you, if you're in a helicopter, I highly doubt you're going to be listening to music, unless of course you count the music of the rotor blades swishing over your head. That's about it, pretty much. But yeah, they did a great job on this. The textures look fine, and it actually feels like a high-class helicopter. Alrighty folks, our next and final stop for this evening is going to be London Heathrow Airport, which you can see that massive lights directly ahead. That's pretty much it. Now, quick disclaimer, the Heathrow that I'm using is the default X-Plane 11 Heathrow. I do not have an add-on for it, and I don't believe Orbx made any adjustments to Heathrow. I am, however, going to turn on our landing lights, and this thing has actually two sets of landing lights, so the ones that I just flipped on are the ones on the sponsons. I won't need to use our FMC. I'm pretty much going to come in on, I want to say 27 left, so we're going to need to swing out a little to the left. We'll come in for a rolling landing, and then we'll go from there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you are buckled up for safety. We are about to come in for a landing, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the autopilot and the altitude hold, so that way we can make our maneuvers into the proper runway. If we wanted to, we could probably come in vertically, but I'll be honest with you, since this is not an airport that I frequent, I'm not very familiar with it. So we're just going to try and see if we can do our best to come in on the runway. And I think I'm aiming for the wrong runway here. I should be on the one on the left. Yeah, that sounds about right. Alright, so we'll swing it out to the left a little bit here. And we'll bring her down. I'm going to find the helipad, which I believe is on the south side of the airport. And once we get there, we'll call this episode done. So overall, as far as the maneuvering capability and the power of this helicopter, I would say that X-Rotors got it right. There's always room for improvement, and there's very, very minor things that I won't even bother to mention, because they're just things that, for me, what I'm used to inside of helicopters appears to be missing. Like, for example, I couldn't quite figure out whether or not there is an active rotor trim. But, again, I've only had it a couple of days, so it could be user error. Maybe I need to go back to the manual and check it out further. But, with that having been said, prepare for landing, folks. We're coming into Heathrow. Alright, right about there seems to be good, and we appear to be on a pretty decent glide slope. Of course, we're in a helicopter, so we can't really go wrong with glide slope here. If we're too low, we simply give it more collective. Vice versa if we're too high. And that is an interesting little house at the end of the airport there. That's kind of cool. It's almost like a little mini castle. As you can see, we've got a highway here. As is often the case with many airports around the globe, there's always a highway somewhere within a mile of the end of the runway. So yeah, we get to say hi to all the people that are, I guess, coming home from their Christmas parties or whatever it is that they're doing today. Because today is, of course, Christmas Day 2018. And we are just toddling in towards the runway. So yes, Here we go, folks. Let's see if I can bring her down nice and easy and hopefully not break the landing gear on my first try. Alright, wasn't exactly one of my textbook landings like I would do with the Osprey, but you know what? It's good enough for me, so we're gonna get into ground effect here, which of course is perfectly modeled with this thing, as you would expect with just about all the helicopters in X-Plane 11. They do take into consideration things like ground effect and vortex ring state and translational lift, you know, all the good stuff that makes helicopters helicopters and makes X-Plane such a great platform for practicing flying your helicopters. Alright, but I still need to find this helipad. I know it's around here somewhere, so let me get a little bit of altitude. I want to say that might be it on the left side. Yeah, that does look like it. I know that they've got some weird funky shape for their helipads here in England. It's not like your typical circle with an H or a square with an H. It's actually a triangle, and actually from the looks of it, it kind of looks like something you'd see on the back of a Black Widow. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how you do it there in the UK, but you know what? We're going to use this as our landing pad. So let's bring her down nice and easy, gentle movements on the collective, just like with any helicopter, especially this one, since it's got so much power. And we're down, but we're rolling. I thought I had the brakes on. Why are we moving? Apparently I did not have the brakes on. No, wait, I thought they were on. You know what? Okay. We're gonna fix this, folks, because I am a little bit of a perfectionist. So hold on, please. Alright, all fixed and all done. So that'll do it for me, folks. This has been BelGeode. I've been flying in X-Plane 11 in the X-Rotors Leonardo AW-139. And this has been part of the Orbx TrueEarth Great Britain South scenery. Next episode, we're going to head to Orbx TrueEarth Great Britain Central. So if you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. I will catch you on the next one. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you soon. Ciao!